Okay, good morning, world. This is, once again, Edward Bevilacqua live here in Las Vegas. We're trying something new. So this is from my smartphone, not with the camera, don't have any kind of monitor, so I don't know if I'm centered in the frame. I don't know, I can't see what I'm doing. So it's gonna be kind of interesting. But today is November 14th, 2018. Again, we're here in Las Vegas. The weather's getting kind of cold, which is why I'm wearing this vest. And this is now week number 3 in our program. Oh, hold on. So there could be a background rumble from the heater. But anyway, this is week number 3, Outside Our Skull-Sized Kingdom. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Simon Sinek's TED Talk. But as a recap, once again, as a recap, what are we doing? Why are we here, etc. We're here for students to learn the tools and techniques of success. For our purpose, success means having money plus meaning and purpose. Money, the definition we define money, this is just our definition, the definition we use at the school. Money gives us the ability to experience more. That's it. No value judgment. Money is not the root of all evil. Lack of money is not the root of all evil. Money is what money does. And what money does in our case is it gives us the ability to experience more. Simple example, you have no money and you want to get across town. How do you do it? Well, you can walk, you can beg for a ride. Not a lot. If you have $10, maybe take a Lyft. Say to somebody, hey, I'll give you $10, I'll buy gas for you if you give me a ride, and you can still walk and you can do the other things. If you have $50, you have the ability to get there more ways. You get enough money, you can buy a bicycle, and you can buy a motorcycle or a moped. More money, you can buy a car or have a helicopter take you. So money just enables us to have the ability to experience more. So success for us is money plus meaning and purpose. Meaning and purpose means service to other people. And that requires a sacrifice. And the easiest, best sacrifice people can give is their time with no expectation of return. In other words, I'm going to help you. I'm going to try to make your life better. I'm going to add value to your life. And the consequence of that, or kind of why we know it's a good thing, is because that will release oxytocin. And oxytocin is a great neurotransmitter. So our purpose is to give our students, help them learn the tools and techniques for success. Our path to do that is called power. And our definition of power is just very simply getting other people to do what you want. You have to do that in life. Nobody can be on their own. The days of somebody going out into the woods, making a living off the land without dealing with anyone else, it's very difficult and totally unnecessary. However, on the other hand, the better you are at getting people to do what you want, the more successful you can be if you are guided towards having money and having meaning and purpose in your life. Okay, so that's our approach. That's why we're here. And we attack that by asking, we attack it by focusing on what's going on inside our brains and what's going on outside our brains. And we do that because our basic premise is I need to know who I am and why I behave the way I do. Because if I know who I am and why I behave the way I do, then I have the ability to guide myself or direct myself on a path that's going to lead to success. But if I don't know who I am and I don't know why I behave the way I do, or if I think I know who I am but I'm wrong, and if I think that I behave a certain way because of something that's not actually true, I'm going to end up almost always being disappointed. Because who I think I am is not really who I am. Why I behave the way I do is not really the reason I behave the way I do. So we want to investigate those two questions. And over here, we have the thing called the Clarke's fourth law, which is for every expert, there's an equal and opposite expert. So what does that mean? Well, that means when we're trying to figure out the answers to the questions, who am I and why do I behave the way I do, we want to have an answer that doesn't violate Clarke's fourth law. In other words, we don't want somebody to say, well, that's just your opinion. So for example, somebody could say, well, there's this thing called the law of attraction and it's really, really, really true. Well, that violates Clarke's fourth law, because there are other things, there are other experts, equal and opposite experts, that say, no, it's not that. It's Scientology, or it's religion, or it's hard work, or it's whatever. So that's a Clarke's fourth law problem. How can you know that the law of attraction is true when they're equal and opposite experts? So our approach to avoid Clarke's fourth law problems is to see what's actually going on in people's brains. To actually get to a level, or I should say it this way, to get to a level where the answer is not based upon an expert. The answer is based upon things that everybody accepts as commonly true. So for example, everybody believes if you put a gun to your head that's loaded and you pull the trigger, you're going to probably die. There's going to be damage. Okay? You don't need an expert to talk about that. And that's the level we take it to. And so we rely upon the latest technology of what's happening inside of people's brains. And guess what? There's a lot of activity studying what happens in people's brains today. In fact, there are claims that, and I think they're credible claims, that we have learned more about the human brain in the last 5 years than the whole history of the world combined. There are better equipment and more people using that equipment and more people building upon a foundation of previous studies done with that equipment, that things are moving really, really fast. So who am I? Why do I behave the way I do? We address those questions by looking at the brain. And so we look at, well, where are our memories stored? You know, what's going on in the brain? And we see there's neurons, and we see on the neurons there's dendrites, and on the dendrites there's synapses, and the synapses contain vesicles, and vesicles transfer, emit, and receive chemicals, neurotransmitters, and we see that those neurotransmitters make us feel certain ways, and the release of neurotransmitters comes down to being based upon certain beliefs that we have. So we kind of get, interesting. So if I have my information stored in my brain, if I have good knowledge stored in my brain, I have good path, a good plan stored in my brain, and I do things that lead me towards that path, I can get to the path. I can get on that path and I can be successful. So I am my connectome. I am what's stored in my neurons, my anticipated future, my lived past, my ability to imagine things and simulate. All that's stored in my neurons. And how do I know that? Well, I know that because if I have a traumatic brain injury, if somebody puts an ice pick through my skull into my brain, I'm going to have brain damage and things are going to happen. Or if I get Alzheimer's, things are going to happen in my brain, or Parkinson's, or brain diseases. I'm going to be a different person. I'm not going to remember things. I'm not going to have the ability to do things. So nobody really disputes now that I am my connectome. You know, that which is stored inside of my brain is what makes up who I am. If I have my arm cut off or my leg cut off, I'm still basically the same person. But if I have a golf ball sized blood clot in my brain, I'm going to be a different person. Probably, as Jill Bolte Taylor said, be an infant in a woman's body. Can't read, write, walk, talk, can't take care of themselves. And then we get that our feelings are the result of the release of neurotransmitters. And that neurotransmitters are released based upon beliefs, or can be, among other things. So, for example, if I believe that liver and onion flavored ice cream tastes bad, I'm not going to want to eat it. If I believe peach pie tastes good, I'm going to want to eat it. If I get offered Hetza, I don't know what it is, so I don't really know if I want to eat it. So anyway, that's our first week, is what happens inside our brain. The second week, or the third week, which is where we are now, outside our skull-sized kingdom, that is for the purpose of now getting us prepared to get other people to do what we want. And if I know how my brain works, I know how your brain works. What I don't know is what your beliefs are. The beliefs trigger the release of neurotransmitters, which cause us to feel. Our feelings affect our behavior, and the behavior has an impact on the outcome. If you go to a job interview and you don't feel well, or you're mad or you're upset, your behavior will reflect that, and the outcome of the interview will be probably directly related to that. So our perception is the world revolves around me inside my skull-sized kingdom. When we get to week 3, where we are now, and step outside of our skull-sized kingdom, what we find is there's a whole bunch of other people out there who think the world revolves around them. Kind of interesting. Because it actually revolves around me, but they think it revolves around them. So how do we interact with one another? Okay, but if I observe these people who think the world revolves around them, what I see is they actually form tribes. They group up. And okay, so what I want is people to do what I want. And I see that people form tribes. So in our program, we then put our focus on David Logan, who studied tribes, probably for about 20 years now. And he noticed that birds fly, fish swim, people form tribes, and that tribes fill 5 different levels. And he has certain rules for interacting in tribes and how you move from one level to another. And so what we conclude from this week is, from David Logan, people form tribes. If I want to get people to do what I want, one good way to do it is to join a tribe and then nudge it forward. Don't push it, don't pull it, don't drag it, don't shove it, just nudge it forward. And under our definition of power, power is getting people to do what you want, other people to do what you want. So nudging is actually a form of power. And it's probably a pretty good form of power because it's not manipulation. It's just nudging people. It implies that people are doing it of their own free will. So that's what we got from Logan. People form tribes. If you want to get people to do what you want, join a tribe and nudge it forward. All right, cool. So the next question then would be, well, how do I nudge it forward? Because I get the idea, nudge it. Well, how do I do that? Because I don't really know. I'm not good at getting people to do what I want them to do. So how do I nudge it? Well,